So today I'm going to plant my tomatoes. It's a little bit cold outside, but I'm going to do it anyways because they're just not doing very well in their pots and I can't figure out why, and I think they might just be happier in the ground. It's supposed to get a little warmer later this week, so I think we should be good. I've been reading a lot about planting tomatoes, especially here in Montana where the climate is just different than what I'm used to. And one of the things that it suggests is when you plant your tomato plants that you should plant them with about a pint of fish emulsion. And so I'm going to dilute some fish emulsion right now, and we'll add that onto our plants as we plant them. Oh, this stuff stinks. We're gonna put about 2 tablespoons per gallon of water for the tomato plants.
What is that?
It's the fish emulsion. Bick. Okay, that's good. Woo! All right. I probably shouldn't look at you, huh? One gallon of fish emulsion will help us start 8 tomato plants. So we'll probably need a bit more than this, but we'll start with this for now. Okay, so these are my tomato plants right now, and a lot of them don't look very happy, but I'm gonna go ahead and plant them anyways. From what I've read, a tomato plant that's 6 to 10 inches is the ideal size to transplant. So some of these aren't too far off. I just can't figure out why they're not very happy in these cups, except maybe that it's just a little bit cool right now and it hasn't been that sunny. So I plant mostly paste tomatoes. This year I'm trying the San Marzano tomatoes for the first time because I've heard that they do really well. I mostly like to make tomato sauce and canned diced tomatoes. So I like to have a lot of paste tomatoes so that I have more meat than water. We also like to eat tomatoes in the summer, just like a fresh tomato is so good. So I do plant beefsteak tomatoes because those grow pretty huge tomatoes and they're just so yummy with some basil, mozzarella, so good. Okay, so I also have some Amish paste tomatoes this year and some carbon tomatoes. Those are they just have a little more like darkish color to them. They're just kind of cool. And then of course beefsteak, and then I always do a few cherry tomatoes because I just let the kids pick on them all summer. They know they are allowed to eat cherry tomatoes whenever. And then a friend of mine gave me, this is something new, a little, and apparently we're gonna make this guy happy, but these grow little tiny tomatoes, so I'm interested to see what happens there. I'm not sure what this variety is. I should ask her and find out, but we'll plant this and it'll be a lot of fun. Go buddy, go on. Good boy. Okay, now we're going to take all these tomatoes to their I also just realized it might have looked a little funny to have my kitchen mat hanging over this bench and on the floor, but I was blocking the wind for these tomatoes because these plants, because we get a lot of wind here and it's really hard on baby plants when you first put them outside. So I just used that to kind of keep the wind. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to put these tomatoes. I really want the Amish paste to do well, and I want the San Marzano ones to do well because that's what I want to preserve. I'm not sure if I can preserve enough for our family for the year, but that is my goal. And in a small backyard, I'm not sure if that's possible, but I always try. And then if I have to purchase some at the end of the summer, then I do. They take up a lot of space, but I'm gonna try and squeeze as much as I can into this garden space. Here, I planted a ton of basil. Tomatoes really like to grow by basil. Honestly, I'm not really sure if it enhances the flavor. I have never did a taste test comparison, but since I've heard that, I just plant them together all the time. So I'm going to plant them here by my basil. So this is the first year that I'm using this space as a garden bed. I mentioned in a previous video that I had ripped out some juniper bushes after my husband built this deck. And so I'm going to plant these out a bit further because there's just not enough sun if I plant them too close to the deck. So they're going to be out a little bit along here, and hopefully they will grow well. Something else about tomatoes this last year is there's two kind of varieties. There's determinate and indeterminate. And determinate means there's a determined size. It's going to get to a certain size and then it's going to put fruit on. Indeterminate means it's going to grow bigger and bigger and it's going to keep putting fruit on all that time. So the indeterminate ones are the ones that most likely need a lot of support. Determinate's not as much, but in this wind, they all need support. The problem is if your tomatoes start growing on the ground, you risk the chance of having rotten tomatoes. And if there's too much moisture, the plant could get like blight, which is like basically black yuckiness. And so you want to stake up your tomatoes. And if you happen to have a plant that has two, you can separate them. They'll grow back. I'm going to loosen up these roots here because they're a little bit squished together, and then I'm going to go ahead and plant all these. Something that's really good to know about tomatoes, which I think is really cool, is that you can actually plant them deeper than what it is here. Some plants don't like that and they'll actually die if you do that, but these will actually just get stronger. So especially if you have tall spindly plants, you can plant them a little bit deeper and they'll do better. You can also plant them on their side. Like we have a lot of wind, so if we plant it on its side, it will come back stronger and be able to withstand the wind. I just want to remind everyone, if you are enjoying our videos, please like the video and then subscribe, and we'll continue making more. And if you would like us to make specific videos or you have any questions for us, please put your questions in the comments and we will try to respond to every single one of them. Thanks. You guys, it literally never rains here and it is starting to rain, so I'm gonna have to shut this off for now. I didn't want to mess with, I don't like to till my garden too much because I don't like to mess with the microorganisms and things that are going on underneath, the life underneath. But this one I'm going to have to do a little bit because it's still so new and I feel like it's pretty compact. So we're going to do a little bit of tilling. I'm gonna have to find pots to put some of my tomatoes in because I have way too many tomatoes. I have lots of memories as a kid. My mom would grow too many tomatoes and she would find places for them because she couldn't kill them either. It's raining, and every time I set up my camera, it's raining. Okay, what do I do? Okay, it's raining. It's really raining. Phone. You guys, it is raining. It never rains here. So our tomato planting is put on hold for the moment, but we don't care because it's raining. Things are getting wet. Probably should have put that stuff inside. I need to get my tomatoes planted, so I'm gonna keep going on that. I'm gonna go ahead and put cages around all of these tomatoes here because they're on the ground in between the dog and the kids. Someone's gonna kill them. We've still got this many tomatoes left, and I don't have any space for them, but because I can't kill tomatoes, I'm either going to find a place or give them to somebody. Yesterday, I finished planting what I could in the rain of my tomatoes, and you remember I said that I had some tomatoes left and I wanted to find a place for them. So what I do is go hunting in my husband's garage and see what containers I can use to grow things in. And I remembered that he had this chick brooder that he built for us when we had the baby chicks, and decided I will fill that up and plant some of my tomatoes in there this year. It's easier if Mommy just does it like this to me. Okay, now you can flatten it out. You want to flatten it out?